Hi, I'm Bree, and welcome to Beyond the Shahada, your realistic guide to Islam. Hands up if you're terrified to tell your mum you've become Muslim, or you text your bestie that you're about to take your Shahada and crickets. Maybe your sister can't help but drop a sarcastic jab every time Islam comes up. I've been getting DMs asking exactly this. How do I navigate these moments as a new Muslim? Believe me, I get it. My parents, siblings, and oldest friends are all non-Muslim. But here's the good news. Once you learn the ropes, it actually becomes second nature. I want to break it down into two phases. Panic mode, that pre-Shahada panic of sleepless nights, racing what-ifs, and the fear of being disowned. And two, the honeymoon high. Post-Shahada glow, you're buzzing, life finally makes sense, then everyone else is looking at you like you've lost your mind. Today we're tackling both, how to survive the panic and how to ride the honeymoon high without burning bridges. Ready? Let's jump in. Alright, phase 1, the panic mode. That pre-Shahada freak out where you're lying awake at 3 a.m, imagining every single worst case scenario. You know the one. You probably have thoughts of, what if my mum thinks I've joined a cult? Will my dad disown me? Will my friends stop talking to me? Sound familiar? I've been there too. My brain was doing mental gymnastics every time I rehearsed the big "I'm Muslim now" speech. So why do we panic? Honestly, I feel like there are a few reasons why, starting with probably the loss of identity. You worry that your loved ones will see you as a different person. Then there's the classic fear of rejection. Reverting to Islam feels like cutting ties with the old you, and you're scared they won't accept the new version of you. And lastly, the overthinking. Our brains just love to turn everything into the worst case scenario. Just a single awkward silence can quickly become a drama that rivals an episode of Home and Away. So how do you control it? I like to think of it as rehearsing the headlines and not the script. Instead of memorizing a full 10-minute speech, boil it down to just one simple line. Something like, "Hey, I wanted to share that I've become Muslim and I'm really happy." That both covers the news and leaves space for their reaction. Now, before the conversation, I do highly recommend taking a minute alone and make dua. Something sincere and direct like, "Ya Allah, guide my words and soften their hearts." This is also making sure your intention is correct, which is the absolute best way to approach anything. If you are by nature an anxious person, plan an exit, so if things become heated, you have a pre-planned way to get out of the conversation. Something really simple along the lines of, "I love you and I respect how you feel, so let's pause here and chat another time." Look, the biggest thing you need to remember is that you don't need to gain their approval or even resolve everything in one go. You are not looking for popularity points or to win a contest. This is simply about being true to yourself. And that's going to look slightly different for everyone. So if that's phase 1, the panic, phase 2 is what I like to call the honeymoon high. This is where you've just taken Shahada and your whole life feels like an Instagram filter. Everything's clearer and brighter and you're buzzing on a spiritual high. If you want to learn more about this in particular, I did talk about it on a previous episode before. I will link that in the show notes. But you're on this spiritual high and then reality sets in and you're constantly hearing things like, "Wait, you're not Christian anymore? Is this just a phase?" Or the absolute crowd favorite, "Aren't all Muslims terrorists?" Suddenly your glow is met with confusion, awkward silences, or even outright judgment. But here's how to surf that wave without totally wiping out. Think of it as if they're processing a plot twist from their favorite novel. In this moment, you've probably done months of research to get to this point. For them, you flipped their script overnight, and people need time to adjust. On top of that, your change stirs questions they've never had to ask before. It can feel very confronting. So if it's confronting for them, how do you navigate it? Let's call it the honeymoon survival kit. Keep it real. Share your excitement, but stay true to yourself. Invite curiosity and don't demand it. Think of it as if you're offering a tour, not some kind of a takeover. Remember that they also probably assume you know everything about Islam. It's really okay to say things like, I'm still learning too. It shows that you're human, that you're not perfect, and that you're not putting yourself on a pedestal above them. All right, so now you've survived the panic and are riding the honeymoon high. Let's arm you with some go-to moves that keep things smooth, real, and hopefully drama-free. Start by always assuming they are curious and not just attacking. When they ask things like, why do you wear that thing on your head now? Take a breath. Respond with something like, hijab is many different things for different people, but for me it's part of showing my faith and following God. Or share whatever resonates with you. The point isn't about the words directly. The point isn't to give a lesson. It's to keep it light, non-preachy, and never rude or aggressive. More like slightly opening a window instead of busting down a door. Another great tactic is using analogies that they already know. Remember, a lot of the negativity they may have around Islam is because they usually don't know anything outside of what mainstream media says about it. Think back to before you even started learning about Islam, or however your journey happened. What did you know about Islam? And what sources did you hear it from? This is probably very similar to theirs. If they make fun of you praying 5 times a day, throw it back with something they know, like think of it like someone meditating, taking time out of the day to center themselves and reconnect. I'm reconnecting with God 5 times a day. Sounds simple, right? To be honest, a lot of this can be in our own mind. We can overcomplicate something that doesn't need to be complicated. Remember, you are sharing your new world. It doesn't need to be perfect or wrapped up in a neat little bow. It's your new normal. Show that to them too. And here's the truth we sometimes miss. Your family and friends are on their own emotional roller coaster. Your reversion is a plot twist in their story too. They may feel a mix of confusion and fear and even loss, for you and for themselves. They may wonder why this has happened, especially if they had no idea this was coming. And if it's a parent or sibling, they may even blame themselves or feel like you're heading down the wrong path. They can also be worried about what it means for their relationship with you, and if you have morphed into a different person and they will no longer have the version of you they know and love. This is where compassion comes into play. Acknowledging their fears will help to calm their fears, not escalate them. Even a simple, I get why you're concerned. I used to feel the same way until I did my own research. Showing compassion doesn't weaken you. It connects you. It makes you real and accessible. All these things work because you've got a rock-solid foundation. So how do you keep it strong? My answer may surprise you a little, or maybe not after listening to this episode so far, but literally focus on yourself, on your journey, on your connection to Allah. Keep learning, keep growing, and stay patient with those still struggling to understand. Time and compassion really do go a long way. Think about this test Allah has given you and how many great rewards that are waiting for you among those tests. Every eye roll they make and you return with a smile, that's a reward. Every time they mock or insult you and you respond calmly without resorting to anger, that's also a reward. When your soul is anchored, no criticism can knock you off course, even if you lose your balance sometimes. I want to leave you with a challenge. This week, starting now, use one of the tools I mentioned with someone close to you. Pay attention to the shift in your mind and attitude and see how that shifts the narrative. And at the end of the day, we're all human. Not a single one of us is perfect, and if anyone walks away from your life, they were never meant to stay. Keep living your faith one moment and one conversation at a time. Bye!